Hi, this is a short video giving 10 reasons why dinosaurs walked with man. Reason number one is Genesis chapter 1 says so. We read in verses 24 and 25, and God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth after his kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. So every large, four-footed, land-dwelling, walking animal was created on day 6, according to Genesis chapter 1. And this would include dinosaurs. The second reason is that the Bible speaks of a Behemoth or Behemoth. It says, "Behold now, a Behemoth, which I have made with thee. He eats grass like an ox. Lo, his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly. He moves his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together." And that's from Job 40, verses 15 to 17. This is a dinosaur description in the Old Testament. Now, see here a picture from creation.com. And there are candidates for Behemoth that some people think it's an elephant, a rhino, or a hippo, but none of these match the description. Rather, some sort of sauropod dinosaur matches the description perfectly. The third reason that dinosaurs walked with man is kind of a counter reason, and that has to do with the word dinosaur. So the word dinosaur doesn't appear in the Bible. And I'm here saying in points 1 and 2 that dinosaurs are in the Bible, but the word dinosaur isn't in the Bible. And that's because the word dinosaur was coined by Sir Richard Owen. He came up with the term Dinosauria, which means terrible lizard, in 1864. Now, bear in mind that the King James Version was translated in 1611, and that's influenced every translation of the Bible since. And that uses the word dragon 35 times. So before this word Dinosauria existed, to talk about a great and terrible lizard, you would have used the word dragon. In the Hebrew and Greek languages, dragon means great serpent, which is pretty much the same as the word that Sir Richard Owen coined. And thus, when the Bible uses dragon, we could think of it as dinosaur. The fourth reason has to do with the Chinese calendar. There's 12 images on the screen, one's enlarged, and 11 of them are real life animals that exist today. Why then would the Chinese, when they created their calendar, make up one mythological animal and throw it in there as well? It's my view that a dragon or kind of small-ish great reptile at this point would have existed in ancient China when the calendar was created. A fifth reason is the supposed dragon myths that are all over the world. Each culture has its own mythology, and they have their own mythological creatures, etc. There are minotaurs and cyclopses and all sorts, but these are usually unique to one area. Dragons are all over the world. There's some examples here on the screen. We have George and the dragon from England. We have a dragon in Wales. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. Again, we have this Aztec Quetzalcoatl. We have examples from Brazil, Jaculus from Egypt, a Maori or New Zealand dragon, and one from Arabia as well. And so we see that all these dragon myths are from all over the world. It's consistent. And this is because, in my view, dinosaurs walked with man. And these are leftover kind of historical accounts, as it were. The sixth reason is that we have ancient depictions of dinosaurs. On the screen now is a Roman mosaic from Lydney Park in Gloucestershire. And you see here that there are some dinosaur-looking creatures in the mosaics. These are likely creatures the Romans would have been aware of. Even later than that, in 1496, we have Bishop Bell's tomb. This is again in Carlisle Cathedral, well-known to creationists. We have two sauropod-looking dinosaurs doing perhaps a courting ritual there, and you see the long necks intertwined. It's ancient depictions of the dinosaurs. And there are more as well. Here, this is taken from waroftheroses.com, which is just about history, not about science at all. And I'll read part of it. It says, "What makes Bishop Bell's burial interesting are the decorations around the edge of the tomb. There is some writing in Latin, a variety of different animals pictured, and it lists some real animals. And then what I want to draw your attention to towards the end is it says, However, they cannot be dinosaurs because nobody knew about the existence of dinosaurs in the 15th century. That's just an assumption. So what these animals really are on the grave of Bishop Bell remains an interesting mystery. They are, in my view, they are dinosaurs, and people would have known about dinosaurs. Again, we have more ancient depictions, a dragon petroglyph in Wapatiki National Park in Arizona. And there are more of these things all over the world. This next one from Taprom Temple in Cambodia is well known. It's disputed, but it is well known, and it looks very much like a Stegosaurus. And again, this is surrounded by other animals that were real animals that still exist and live in that area today. So why would people be mixing mythology with real life? The seventh reason is the amount of historical accounts that we have. And here's one, Marco Polo, well-known historian. And he says here, he talks about huge serpents having 2 legs, 3 claws, like those of a tiger. And what he describes here is a large reptile-like creature, which is more formidable than tigers and bears and things like that. And so we've got a historical account that seems to be describing an ancient dinosaur in China, which would lead back into our earlier point about a real dragon being on the Chinese calendar. And the 8th reason is what we call the dinosaur death pose. And there's a little screenshot there on the screen from New Scientist. It says in the article, recreating the spectacular pose many dinosaurs adopted in death might involve following the simplest of instructions: just add water. And then it says, when paleontologists are lucky enough to find a complete dinosaur skeleton, whether it be a tiny Sinosauropteryx or an enormous Apatosaurus, there's a good chance it would be found with its head thrown back and its tail arched upwards, technically known as the opisthotic death pose. And so the dinosaur death pose looks like this. This is taken from the same article, head back, tail forward. And they said just add water. In other words, water causes this dinosaur death pose. This is consistent with what we see in the Bible, because fossils are formed from rapid burial in water. And these deaths are deaths that have involved water. And the Bible speaks of a great worldwide flood. There's a well-known song, children's song from creationists. It says, if there was a worldwide flood, what would the evidence be? Billions of dead things buried in rock layers, laid down by water all over the earth. And that's what we see. It's consistent with what the Bible teaches, but it's not consistent with the secular views of the dinosaurs' extinction. Anyway, the 9th reason is that we have dinosaur soft tissue being found all over the place in dinosaur bones. This is a quote from Mary Schweitzer, who found some of these things. It says, it was exactly like looking at a slice of modern bone, but of course, I couldn't believe it. I said to the lab technician, the bones are, after all, 65 million years old. How could blood cells survive that long? The problem is, for 300 years, we thought, well, the organics are all gone, so why should we look for something that's not going to be there? And nobody looks. And in some ways, that's bad science. So they are making an assumption about the ages of the bones. They understand that soft tissue can't last 65 million years, so they don't even bother looking for it. Then they find it by mistake. And instead of realizing, actually, the bones aren't 65 million years old, they then have to think, well, how does it last 65 million years? So instead of actually realizing the misconception about the long ages, they stick to the long ages despite evidence and rework the evidence to fit into their theory. And the 10th reason is not so much as a reason, but just to point out some secular inconsistencies. So again, not looking for soft tissue in dinosaur bones, or not considering the most obvious conclusion when they realize its existence. There are claims that grass evolved millions of years after dinosaurs were extinct, and this was in National Geographic as recent as 2018, only to find grass in dinosaur poo, and this was in a study published in New Scientist in 2005. So 13 years later, National Geographic still haven't got the message. There are disagreements as to how dinosaurs went extinct. Was it a meteor or was it volcanoes? Volcanoes seems to be increasingly popular, and that would fit better with, again, the flood narrative, where the Bible talks about the chasms of the earth opening up and things spewing forth. There's also a lack of evidence for the idea that dinosaurs somehow got smaller and lost their sharp teeth and evolved into birds. That's degeneration, not really evolution. There are issues with dating methods as to their accuracy. And to be honest, most of what layman people know about dinosaurs is gained from pop culture and isn't necessarily accurate to the truth. And so that's 10 short reasons why I think dinosaurs walked with man. Feel free to get in touch if you have any questions on that or would like to be pointed to some resources. I can certainly signpost you to those. Thanks for watching.